What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, January 16th, 2019. Good news is, I think within the next couple of weeks, we're really going to have an idea of the upside or downside of Bitcoin. A couple more weeks, and that's based off of this longer-term symmetrical triangle you see on our screen, but it's also based on another pattern we have kind of confluent with that pattern. And so it's going to give us an idea of what to anticipate. So let's jump right into the charts. Let's look at what I'm looking at. So first, I've been doing this a lot. I've been talking about the last bear market, and we have so many similarities. We have 2015 on your screen, and then we have this one. So at the bottom of 2015, we got that bounce to the 50 EMA and rejection, and then we got a bounce up to the 50 EMA and rejection. Now, similarly, we've had the same type of thing happen in this market. We have that bottom, bounce to the 50 EMA rejection, and then second rejection at the 50 EMA. Now, we talk about the similarities, but I think it's very important to talk about the differences as well, because the differences are kind of bearish for today's scenario. So please note on your screen, this first rejection that we had at the 50 EMA, we had this, this bounce off of a swing low down here to that 50 EMA once again. And then when we came back down this second time, you can see we basically formed a higher low, right? And you can also take note of the volume along this move, pretty level. Now let's look at what we've done in this bear market. We had our swing low to first rejection at the 50 EMA to our second swing low. And here's our second rejection at the 50 EMA. But this time what happened is we actually created a new lower low. So last bear market, we had a higher low off of that second rejection. This bear market, we have a lower low off of this rejection. And the other thing we have going on here, if you look at the volume, is a decreasing of volume. And in that last bear market bottom, you can see we have a very leveled off looking volume. Now, in terms of this bear market, those aren't good bullish indicators, okay? It illustrates momentum to the downside. And that's why really the last 1 to 2 weeks we've been saying we need volume to come in because you've seen this decreasing of volume with Bitcoin. So that's kind of a foundation to what we're going to talk about today, especially this lower low here. So let's go over to the symmetrical triangle we've been tracking right now for Bitcoin. It's a pretty good looking symmetrical triangle to track. Now you have it on your screen. We've recently gotten that support off of this swing low to swing high Fibonacci right down here, the 618 to 786. And it also kind of solidified this higher low in the symmetrical triangle. So we have 3 touches to the top, 2 touches to the bottom, and right now we're kind of hovering right there as support. So we have 75% to the apex right around here, right around January 29th to the 30th. And that's 75% to the apex of this symmetrical triangle. So usually, right, on average, that's around when we get a break through the upside or to the downside through a symmetrical triangle. That's what you want to shoot for. It could be before, it could be after, but that's the average. So within the next couple of weeks, I think we're going to get a really good idea of what Bitcoin's going to do. And I want to throw this out there. In the meantime, while we're waiting for a break to the upside or downside, we might get another run up to the upper end of this symmetrical triangle, which again would be a run to the 50 EMA here on the daily chart. Very important area to get a run to get an idea of what Bitcoin's going to do. Because if Bitcoin gets more rejection at that 50 EMA and at the upper end of this symmetrical triangle, it's definitely not going to be good for Bitcoin. So right now we're looking at around 10 to 11% from testing those areas. So could that happen before we get to the 75% to the apex? Absolutely. I mean, this could happen tomorrow, right? But we could also have a break right through the bottom of the symmetrical triangle tomorrow. So be on the lookout for those two things. But for now, we at least have a timeline of the next couple of weeks for continued consolidation for Bitcoin. It's very possible to kind of trade sideways for a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit within this area here in this triangle. So Keep an eye out on that. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is in reference to this symmetrical triangle, we have something else interesting happening, right? And it could speak to the downside for Bitcoin. And here it is. You see our symmetrical triangle. It's this, let me try and get my brush here. This upper trend line, this white line, and then you see this orange line. This is a symmetrical triangle we were just kind of tracking. So what I want to talk about in reference to that triangle is of the trend line. So what we have now is we need one more touch, at least to the top, to form a falling wedge. Now, what I want to just kind of throw out there to you is that falling wedge, the top trend line is right around that 50 EMA, and it obviously is right at the symmetrical triangle top trend line. So it's always good to have two patterns in formation confluent with each other to track for Bitcoin, because it really gives us an idea when using other indicators like volume or even the RSI or stock RSI momentum oscillators. It gives us a good idea of how strong or weak Bitcoin is looking. So if we get a run up to that top symmetrical triangle trend line, we're going to also have, and if we see resistance there, we're going to have another formation, another pattern that has formed, which is this falling wedge that you see on the screen. So I wanted to throw that out there for you just because it's one other thing to watch in terms of Bitcoin. But if I were to give you my complete honest opinion, Bitcoin it has been looking weak, right? And what might define the true next move for Bitcoin may be a 10% move to the upside, continued resistance, another lower high in this area. And if we get a bounce off of there, it's definitely probably a good idea to anticipate new lows to our next target down there around $2,500. I know that sounds bearish, but it is what it is. I'm taking the data I have on my screen and I'm sharing it with you. If you're long on Bitcoin, it really doesn't make a difference either way. It just gives you more opportunity to accumulate along the way. And, that's what I would be doing. This is a huge buy zone for me, this $2,500 to $2,200 area. So we have to be patient. We have to track it on a daily basis, these patterns that are in formation right now. So we have, once again, our symmetrical triangle right here. We have 3 lower highs. We have 2 higher lows. And then we have this falling wedge right here, potentially in formation. We have two lower highs, and then we have 2 lower lows, and then we're waiting for a third touch to the top trend line. So let's see if Bitcoin can get a move, at least test that 50 EMA up here in this $4,000 area one more time. It would be very nice. It would be very nice from a technical analysis standpoint as well. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin today. Let me know your thoughts. How you making out? I know sometimes it kind of, my video today, not much different than yesterday's, but this is technical analysis. This is what we do. We track it. We're watching, we're waiting, we're anticipating. However, one thing is good. We can use these indicators to kind of get an idea and to kind of state Bitcoin looking a little weak right now. So there is definitely potential for downside. Just prepare for it. Get ready for it. I hope you're having a good day. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I will see you all in the next video. Have an awesome day and God bless.